They sat my 10-year-old daughter at Christmas dinner on a folding chair, next to the kitchen garbage can, as if that was her proper place. The rest of the family carried on with their meal, plates clinking and forced, laughter filling the room. Nobody even blinked. My daughter just sat there staring at the floor, her small shoulders curled inward. Then she got up, walked directly to me, and whispered, "Can you do the thing you said you would do if it felt bad again?" So I did. 5 minutes later, my mother was screaming. I should have known it would come to this. My family had been chipping away at us for years. The jokes about my daughters, clothing, the judgmental glances when she spoke too loudly or laughed too freely, the subtle exclusion. Just enough to hurt, but never enough to be called cruelty. Out loud, they thought I wouldn't notice, that I would just sit. They're like I always had, pretending that family meant love and not a rigid hierarchy. But I noticed everything. I mentally recorded each insult, each smirk, and I weighted the folding chair. Was the breaking point. I watched my daughter push peas around her plate, ignored and humiliated, while her cousins laughed under the warm glow of the chandelier. The message was clear: she didn't belong. She looked at me with eyes that seemed to mature for a 10-year-old. That's when she asked the question, the one we had practiced quietly on nights she cried after family events. "If it feels bad again, Mama, will you do something?" I had promised her I would, so I did. I didn't yell or flip the table. I stood up, excused myself quietly, and walked down the hallway into the den where I had been keeping files for months. Every family secret was carefully documented: bank statements, text messages, photos. I had told myself I would never use them unless they went after her, unless they completely crossed the line. That night they didn't just cross it, they completely annihilated it. Here's what I had: my brother had been siphoning small amounts from the family business, just enough to look like poor accounting, but enough that the IRS would take notice. My sister's affair with a coworker was preserved in screenshots she accidentally sent me years ago, thinking I was her friend. And my mother, the one who preached dignity, had a habit of borrowing money from neighbors and never paying them back. I had their messages, their frustration, their patience, worn thin individually. These were small issues, but together they were a weapon. I returned to the dining room calm. My daughter's plate was untouched. She clutched her napkin tightly like a lifeline. I leaned down and kissed her forehead. "It's handled," I whispered. Then I pulled out my phone and composed a single group text with all the evidence attached. I sent it not to strangers, but to the people who mattered most to them: my brother's boss, my sister's husband, and every neighbor on my mother's street. The room buzzed with chatter as the first phone began to vibrate. Then the screaming started. My brother's face went white as his boss's number lit up his screen. My sister dropped her fork when her husband stormed into the room, phone in hand, demanding answers. And my mother, her shriek cut through the chaos as neighbor after neighbor replied, furiously confirming what I had exposed. It all unraveled so fast, voices rising, accusations flying, everyone scrambling to control the damage. I sat there calmly feeding my daughter bites of mashed potatoes while the storm raged around us. My father finally pointed at me, his voice trembling. "What did you do?" I met his eyes. I told the truth, the same thing. "You all punished a 10-year-old for..." A silence fell over the table. No one had a response. I turned to my daughter. "Ready to go, sweetie?" She nodded, relief softening her features. For the first time that night, we stood up and left. No one dared to stop us. The fallout was immediate. My brother's accounts were frozen, pending an investigation. My sister's marriage cracked open under the weight of her betrayal, and my mother's precious reputation, her carefully crafted image, was torn to shreds as neighbors demanded repayment. They tried to call me, begged, threatened. I blocked every number. Do I have any regrets? No, because when they put my daughter on that folding chair next to the garbage can, they made a statement that she didn't matter. And when she walked to me asking if I would do the thing I promised, she gave me permission to rewrite that statement, so I did. I showed her that silence isn't a sign of strength, that family isn't a free pass, that love means protection, not sacrifice. And that night, as she curled up against me in bed, she whispered, "Mama, thank you for doing the thing." I kissed her hair and said, "Always." That folding chair is probably still in their dining room now, shoved in a corner. But in her memory, it will always be the night she learned she wasn't disposable. They called her a disgrace, but I showed them what true disgrace looks like.